I think a lot of people don't know that house in particular and techno was created by Black and queer artists in Chicago. And that's because the way that house is composed, the best way to mix music when you're DJing, which is the form of music that I kind of produce. And so I think a lot of people have kind of branded house as like white Europeans, like on top of bars and on rooftop bars, and they're like drinking little drinks. But no, that started off as a form of resistance among people who look like me, among people who act like me and dress like me. My name is Zuri Murph. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My dad is a bit of a country boy. He grew up in Tennessee, so I also grew up listening to a lot of rock, a little bit of country, and a lot of funk. My mom is more into hip hop, more into R&B. She introduced me to like Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. And so having this fusion, I always felt comfortable to explore types of music that are outside of what people might perceive that I listen to. And that really gave me the space to just like kind of curate my own taste. So when I think about DJing and when I'm like putting together sets, kind of regardless of who I'm DJing for, or even if it's like just my friends, I really think about like what story I want to tell, and sometimes that story can be as simple as, oh my gosh, I just want to have fun with my friends. And sometimes that story is like, I feel like this is the type of music that I never get to listen to, but this is the type of music I really like. Or maybe it's kind of, these type of voices are suppressed. I think music in all forms, whether it's when I'm listening to techno, when I'm listening to dubstep, when I'm listening to house, when I'm listening to Afro beats, like those are all things that I love to embody. I think it comes out in my clothing the most. Sometimes I'm feeling very bright and I might be listening to a lot of house those days. Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit darker and I might be listening to like trance or synthwave. But a lot of those things can go hand in hand. So just kind of navigating like those two things and how what you listen to is how you present yourself outwardly. You get to a point in dressing where you realize that what you want to wear might not exist, or it's $400. And you're like, I can make that. And once you hit that point, it's point of no return, and it's a great point to be at. I knit this scarf, and then I also knit the kind of leg warmers. I don't know if you can see them. But being able to make your own accessories, being able to make your own clothes, that's something that I kind of always had a dream of doing, but it was like a little dirty dream. It was like, you can't tell anyone that you want to be artsy because like, they're gonna be like, you're gonna make no money. But it was something I always thought was cool. It was something I always respected other people for doing. Then I've kind of gone a step forward and integrated that into the work that I want to do as a person. Because now I want to do marine science research where I'm taking stuff like algae and bacteria and seeing how we can use those organisms to make products for the textile industry. Being able to take stuff like that out of my mind, know what other people love and unify those things, it just makes me happy. Love when I also make things for people and they're like, oh my God, I needed this so bad. Like, and then seeing them wear it, you're just like, oh, I'm so glad that I made something that's functional for you. I'm so glad that I made something that helps you in your daily life. And when you put happiness above money, you don't want to sell your things anymore and you just want to make stuff. I really like how in the art space, you need that diversity and you need to see diverse people doing diverse things, because those are the people that are pushing the bounds. Like, there were so many genres of music before house was invented. But then all of a sudden, some black people in Chicago and Detroit were like, yeah, no, DJ software looks like this, music composition looks like that. We should be able to integrate these things into a new art style. And now it's everywhere. And now it's so efficient. Now it's like DJing with house and DJing with other genres of music, it's so different because house and techno, like those things are made to DJ with. It feels so much more natural. You need people who are willing to not be afraid to be embarrassed. You need people who are like, okay, well, I know that the community is missing this. I think I can give it to them. We need people with the audacity. We need people with the confidence. We need people with the like fearlessness. Sometimes I walk out and the black grandmas are like, yes, you look so cute. Your hair is so cute. And sometimes I walk out and people are like, don't look over there, like holding their kid. And not in like a scary way or a mean way, but when you're independent and when you're expressive and when people can sense that you have a freeness about yourself, they might not want other people to copy that because people like conformity, people like uniformness. They don't want people to be doing their own thing. When you know what you're talking about and when you know what you're doing, you have no problem looking like me. You have no problem putting symbols on your body and standing up for things because you know what they mean. You know what they say about you and you know how they make other people feel, even if that's uncomfortable. Sometimes I want people to feel uncomfortable. Like, I want you to know that what you're doing is wrong. And I want you to know that through my expressiveness, I'm not going to bow down to that. So I hope people are still curious. I think that's something that's kind of lost sometimes, and it's lost on me too with having a phone. But be more curious, and when you start poking those holes, you start to find a lot of things that specifically need you, specifically need your skill set, specifically need whatever you bring to the table as an individual, because everyone does art.